And lastly, the last key is befriending your fear, right? You may be, the minute we decide for something new, like I'm going for it. I want to kind of shift career paths, or I want to go to the next level in work and have a leadership role. The minute we go out of our status quo, the brain is still in that survival mode and it wants to protect you. So immediately you're going to feel it in your body. All those alarms start going off like, where are you going with this? It was what was happening to me when I was thinking I was going to make that shift. I literally kind of almost went into we call it DEF CON. There's 3 different ways that we go into it, but because it was way beyond, where I was thinking. So we got to befriend the fear. People who are successful, it's not that they don't have fear, but they've learned how to navigate it. We want to understand that we can have fear, but we don't want it to have us. So I want to give you some tools that support this. So let's just share the example of, you're making a shift here, and what are the voices start saying to you? Where are you going to get the money? That's not going to happen. How are you going to find the time to do this? All these paradigms, all these voices start coming up that want to keep you where you're, protect you and keep you where you are. And so anybody have those voices? Can you relate to voices that come up and tell you, who do you think you are applying for that? Or, how do you think you're going to have that kind of salary? Or just voices each day that are kind of wanting to pull us back. Paradigms aren't bad, but when we're moving to the next level, we need to repattern them so they serve us. So we want to know how to navigate them. So when we're deciding for new results, there are 3 kind of deterrents that come up, paradigms that come up: delay and distraction, right? Yeah, I'm going to apply for that job today, but you know what? First, I need to kind of do some cleaning, or, do something here, or we kind of put it off. Or dissuasion, it's not that urgent. I don't really need to do that. Or, I'm not going to apply for that one because I just don't think I have the qualifications. So any of those kind of things come up. Or, DEF CON, where you kind of freeze up and go into this, like, I don't know where, what my next step is, or I can't imagine, stepping into that kind of job. When you can frame fear as the good news is when you have fear, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone's not always comfortable. And the good news is when you're challenging that means you're going into what, that next level for yourself. So here we are making this decision. Heck yeah, I'm doing this. And then, most of us get into that. What if I fail? What are the neighbors going to think? And we can learn much from fear and failure. Actually, fear and failure are part of this process. So fear can come up in ways where it's trying to protect you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to keep you safe. I don't want you to feel embarrassed anymore. We don't want those holding you back. So we can learn from failure. And we did as kids. I don't know if anybody has small kids too, to watch them, right? When they're learning to walk, they learn by falling down and getting back up again. There's not one of them that sits down and goes, I guess I'm not supposed to be a walker, right? They're desiring to move forward. So just like we have some great examples of people who moved forward and moved into success because they weren't going to listen to what others were telling them. Oprah was fired by TV execs because they said she wasn't fit for TV. She moved ahead. Spielberg rejected from USC Film School 3 times. They had to apply 242 times for a loan to open Starbucks. Imagine. Now, all of these people had clarity on where they were going. They had a passion for what they wanted, which helped them to keep going and move through those 242 times to keep going. They decided each day, I'm going to keep going. Walt Disney, they fired him because they said he had no imagination. Where would we be without him? So fear and failure are actually prerequisites for achieving great dreams. It's just learning how to navigate them. I do a lot of teaching on failure. It's actually an acceleration tool. It just means not this way, there's another way, right? So you got to befriend your fear. So we recognize there's a part of us that wants to go forward, and there's a part of us that wants to play small. And in the middle of that is fear. And the key piece that we have, we're the CEO of our mind. We get to actually say to that fear, not today. My mentor talked about learning that you can set fear aside for 3 days when it comes up. Her husband came home, he lost his job, and immediately she went into that fear mode, but she had just learned, you know what, I get to kind of tell fear, I'm going to put you over here for a little bit so I can focus on where I need to go. We can do that. So I'm going to teach you briefly here a quick way of navigating fear as we bring us in for a landing here. So I want you to imagine we all have a pause button. You have a pause button that you can use in many arenas in the service of keeping our voices that aren't serving us down, for calming the nervous system, for calming the fear down. Imagine pushing the pause button. And the second part of that is you're going to do what I call safety breathing to calm the nervous system, going to rest and restore. So the safety breathing is to breathe in through your nose on the count of 4. If you want to do that with me, breathing in for 4. And then slowly exhale, blowing out through your mouth as if you're blowing through a straw on 4. And I'll invite you to do that a couple of more times as I share. So when fear comes up, you push that pause, you do your breathing. What that does is it calms the fear down. It calms down those voices, and you set them aside. And then you get to decide, again, you're the CEO of your thinking. You get to decide, I'm not going to get wound up in fear and get held up and not continue with my job search. I'm going to focus back on my vision for what I would love in moving forward in my work. And then you want to be sure you take an action step that follows your refocus. Because what you're doing is you're helping the brain redirect, and you're letting it know you're turning the ship around. You're going in the direction of where you would love to go. So this is a system that you want to remember, that you have that ability to redirect your mind towards where you want to spend your time, and to literally physically calm yourself down. So when fear, doubt, and worry come up, focus back on your dream and then take an action step. So I'm going to encourage you. You did some work on getting more specific about your vision. So I want to have you anchor in this moment, just top of mind. And it could be when I get off the phone tonight, I'm going to take one action step. Or it could be by the end of the day tomorrow. Just anchor an action step that you can take that serves what you're focused on. If it's your job search, what is one thing you can do in that arena? Go ahead and write that down for yourself.